This is our 10th BAMcast episode. Welcome to our monthly podcast. When you think about how products or services are presented, what comes to mind? Is it the three-tiered model we see online? Why is it presented that way? There has to be an intention and a purpose to that design. And although we may have the system displayed correctly based on eternal patterns of psychology, how we get there is the much needed debate that needs to be had. As we are going about this all wrong, in my humble opinion, we need to dive into the layers to understand why features times benefits equals product or service is a better way to reach our outcome. But before we deconstruct what this all means, let me tell you what BAMcast is all about. BAMcast is a monthly podcast dedicated to aligning your brand, audience, and message. All resources, support topics will be around brand alignment to give you confidence and clarity of the right path for your brand's vision. I am Joel Kelly, co-founder of BAM Align, BAM Academy, and the BAM Fam. I strongly believe in the philosophy of give someone a fish and they'll eat for a day. Teach someone to fish and they'll eat for a lifetime. I've spent 20 plus years transforming brands and educating business owners on how to excel and align their message in the marketplace. I want to teach you the lessons I've learned from the successes and the failures and share the wisdom I've gained along the way. I didn't follow my passion, I followed the opportunity which led to my passion. If you want to build a legacy and live the life you've always dreamed of, just need a little guidance to get there, I'm here to help. This month's topic is features times benefits equals your product or services. We'll be discussing three things during this podcast. What are products or services defined as and their purpose? Number two, how we are reverse engineering the wrong way with our model. Number three, why the model features times benefits equals products or service works so much better. Your brand protects what is most important. So why do your products hurt you? The point of your brand is not to sell a product. And yet it seems to be the only thing most brands want to do. A factory builds a widget and a brand slaps its logo on before sending it directly to consumers. Drop shipping and the promises of a 4-hour work week have screwed up what it means to create, cultivate, and grow a brand. The point of a brand, especially your brand, is to connect you with the aligned audience in a very specific way for a very specific problem they need fixing. These problems are always something internal, anxiety, fear, something psychological, and are always more difficult to resolve. Yet, ask just about any marketing or branding professional, and we've talked to quite a few, and they are usually more concerned about expanding market share or increasing customer retention. In other words, how do we sell more of our product? How do we get more people to sign up for our services? How do we, as a brand, grow? Simple. You grow when your customers grow. And this all starts with changing the way you design and present your products. Take a look at just about any company's pricing page. It's usually tucked somewhere at the bottom of a landing page that's littered with over-promising and punchy copy. The pricing is presented in a 3-tier system. Free, cheap, basic, and advanced, good, better, and best. So why is it presented this way? I suppose you could look at the SaaS companies from early Silicon Valley days, the ones that were solely interested in gaining the highest number of users in the shortest amount of time. Customers or clients were promised added features, more capacity, more bandwidth, or additional user licenses for each tier. This might make sense for a software company that can leverage automation to maintain and grow its user base, but it's not always great for everyone else. Their end goal is often to sell their product to users and all to larger company that will incorporate their features into something bigger. To reach this end goal, they usually have to scale horizontally to gain as much market share as possible. You, however, first need to scale vertically, which requires a different strategy entirely. Before you can try to expand horizontally, think of it like the roots of a tree. Before a tree can grow a heavy, healthy trunk that supports a leaf canopy, it must first grow a deep, strong network of roots. Otherwise, the first stiff breeze will cause the tree to collapse. This growth will be dependent on your good, better, and best tiers. The good is you're available to everyone. Your better is your aligned audience but comes at a premium. And the best you have to offer is unrivaled in quality but very limited in distribution. So another way of looking at it is your good is the best available without you in the mix, built into that equation of the model. So like a self-guided DIY course. And the other better would be a group session. It's not as great as the one-on-one, but it's definitely better than the self-guided if you're a consultant. Growing your business means finding ways to package your best product in a way that won't appeal to everyone. To do this, we will have to take the equation you are used to and flip it around. But first, some foundational ideas. The origins of your product. The BAM fam loves to assess the specific definitions of the words we commonly use. For so long, product or service has stood in as terms for the thing you sell. Frankly, this has been an injustice to what both of these words could mean. Service is a noun, the work performed by the one that serves, a set of articles meant for a particular use. Product, also a noun, something that is produced, something that is marketed or sold as a commodity, the result of multiplying two numbers or expressions together. How many of us have started our business with the idea, I want to deliver product X to the people? What if we looked at it in a different way? Your product isn't the deliverable, but the potential for what you could do for people. Your brand must solve your audience's internal problems. Those who invent products out of nothing often find themselves having to imagine a problem they could solve. It happens more often than you think. Just look at all the ridiculous premises of the stuff you can order on late night TV. In the Big Bang process, we figure out your audience's problem, how you're solving it, and who you are solving it for. It is a long process that requires a ton of research and reflection. Then, after you have determined the internal problem your audience faces, we can figure out how to package that resolution. Features and benefits does not make a product. Don't create a product and then figure out your features and benefits. To learn how to do something the right way, usually you have to do it the wrong way first. For years, solo business owners and coaches have hitched their cart to the idea that their brand and their copy need to focus on their features and benefits. When you build a product before anything else, you make a huge assumption about what people need. The result is often a product you have invested in a load of time and money into that a few people may want, but almost no one needs. You're left trying to package your offer into a box with features and benefits printed on it. Look, you say to them, this online course will teach you how to make 6 figures a year. Work from home, super easy, passive income. If you can't tell, we get a lot of targeted ads swearing to fix companies' problems from people who fix every problem with money. And although money does help, it isn't the sole reason why people do business with you. When you list features and benefits as the reason to buy your product, you assume the challenges your audience faces. Every time this happens, the features are inflated beyond what anyone can reasonably promise, and the benefits are just a distraction. Your product or service needs to solve a problem. It needs to address someone's internal conflict. You can't create a scalable product that solves specific problems unless you can prove that you have solved the problem in the first place. Consider the 3-tiered pricing models. What happens when your customer pays more for features, but the problem isn't really solved? Better. Doesn't matter when good hasn't solved that in the first issue. But if you did it another way, solve that problem, then build a product around it. Wouldn't that be interesting? Introducing a different way. Features times benefits now equals the product or service you are wanting to sell that solves that specific problem for that individual or your audience. I started writing this because I think most brands need a reality check about what they are offering, especially when the brands are focused on coaching or consulting. You went into the business for yourself because you wanted to help as many people as possible. But really, how many people can you help? If every client you took on received 100% of your effort and most of your attention, how many clients until you totally burn out? Consider the consultant who wants to show people how they can make 6 figures a year. How many people can they actually help with that feature realistically? These are consultants who need to learn what their audience is really dealing with, the internal problem. It may not be about wanting 6 figures on your income. Rather, their audience may want to work less, leave a job they hate, or increase their income by some degree to save more and plan for a brighter future. These are the internal struggles and pain points. Your features should be born directly from them. When you address their problems, you tap into the one end-all, be-all benefit that everyone is looking for, and that is hope. Your audience wants to feel a sense of hope, and that's it. The hope that they can get through that problem and they can, with your solution, and it will bring them to a better place. The opposite of hope is disappointment, frustration, stagnation. The thing they feel when your product or service lets them down. And that can be from broken brand promises through the false expectations and so on. But once they work with you, they get to where they've always wanted to go. Every one of us deserves the feeling of hope, but you can't deliver that feeling if you don't feel it yourself. Typically, when business owners try to do more for their audience, they are faced with the overwhelm and burnout. This is why business owners need to look at the triple-tiered product offering in a different light. You're not adding more features. Each level isn't any more beneficial than the one before it. Rather, the varying levels are there to protect you and keep you in business longer. And again, as expressed before, the first one, the good offering, is really that entry level and can be self-guided with you out of the mix. Automating that level and that tier makes it scalable, and it's the best offering that you can do without putting yourself in the mix. For instance, like teaching a course, online, evergreen, stuff like that. And then obviously you want to go to the better. And again, we talked about it, it's group. It's not the one-on-one, but it's not the self-guided, but it's in between. And it's the best of both worlds, which becomes the better of the value. And you're still doing the same process as you were doing in the self-guided, but you're just leveraging it in a different way, especially the content. And the best is the same thing, but it's that one-on-one treatment. And see, by having a simple system like that, it's very easy for you to scale. And it also is that if people really want your time, which if you think about it, time is like giving a piece of your life to someone. You don't get it back. So we need to be very diligent and a good steward of who we give our time to. So just food for thought. So the person who signs up for, let's go it again, for a free tier gets as much value as someone who drops $50K to get the one-on-one. Again, tiers aren't there for them. They are there for you. Everyone gets the lower end, your general audience, but those who are truly aligned with what your brand has to offer get the premium connection. Consider retail lifestyle brand. They are pedestrian editions that are printed on sale at Target. And then there are the high-level members-only drops that are highly coveted, expensive, and gone in an instant. Scarcity is a major part of that. And the urgency is the fact that because of the scarcity, there's an urgency in order to buy. And if there is a truthful urgency and scarcity, that's a great thing. Musicians who play art fairs and busk on street corners for everything, but they also play private shows in the backyards of their biggest fans. Or a blog you publish that gives everyone the top 5 tips of becoming a better runner versus the 10 people who are in your private training run club who pay you thousands each month just to log miles with you and to reach their goals. It's all how much hope they need. Your good offering at the base of everything you do should solve that problem. Everything from there on, your better and best offers depend on the multiplier of benefits you deliver. The sense of hope, whatever the case, whatever the problem you're helping them resolve, their renewed sense of hope will compound everything else they go forward. So, in conclusion, as far as when it's coming to your brand and why the multiplication rather than features and benefits equals products and services, or products and services equals features and benefits is how everyone builds it now. And why features times benefits is much better. It's because it's the aligned features and benefits, the actual compounding internal pain points that your solution, your product or service solves. And example, if you have one horse that can pull 2,000 pounds, if you add 2 horses together, you can pull 10,000 pounds. The aligned moving in synergy, the multiplicative factor is incredible. And so you actually are more effective. You may have less features, but they're more aligned and they're more concentrated, if you will, in value. And that makes a huge difference. And so when we're thinking about the good, better, and best, again, I want to reiterate that it's not just about trying to offer something quick, dirty, and cheap or whatever, and just to get them through the different funnels. Some people may just be okay, and all they'll need is the good. And that good, you can scale up to 60% or even 80% of your entire business can be just focused on the good. And then you want around anywhere from 15, no more than 30%, that to be with the, again, it depends on your ratios, but to be a part of your better. And then the premium is 5 to 10%. It's like these people are going to pay and they're going to take a piece of your life and they're going to pay to take a piece of that life from you. Because again, time is your life. When you give your time, you give a piece of your life away that you will never get back. And so I want you guys to think in conclusion, when you're coming up with your product strategy and your pricing models and how you're putting things together, just think about these things a little bit differently and you're going to get a lot better results. What would this look like for your brand? Try it out, see what it is. And that concludes this month's BAMcast. If you would like to be a guest on our podcast, you can email clarity@bamalign.com with the subject line, I would like to be a guest on BAMcast. I strongly recommend you start by understanding your brand archetypal mix, and we have a free quiz. Link will be in the description. You can join our BAM Fam community dedicated to aligning your brand. We have free alignment resources there as well. Link will also be in the description. Finally, if you find yourself in need of guidance, with your brand alignment, we have our BAM Academy and frameworks to help you with that. I would start with the Big BAM process. This is our brand strategy framework. I have led thousands of clients through, and we have a self-guided option as well. Thanks again for listening, and hope you can understand the value of features times benefits equals and packages your product or service. Thanks again for listening.